I am so happy to be back on our YouTube channel. I wanted to take a moment to show you how I made our Easter Bunny hot air balloons. This one was so much fun to make. I just used anything I had on hand, which included a water bottle, some barbecue skewers, which for some reason is always in my house, and then I went ahead and cut out some hot air balloon pieces out of cardstock. I also cut out some bunny ears out of cardstock as well. So we're going to be using that. And then we're going to use some craft paper. And there's a lot of substitutes for the craft paper, so we'll get back to that. This mesh burlap is a spare that I had from a previous project, so you can use anything for that particular piece as well. And then we have our hot glue, some scissors, and of course some foam tape. Foam tape is definitely optional. I like to use it to make some products stand out, but that's totally optional. First thing you want to do is cut the water bottle to your liking. I went ahead and went to this height because I felt like this was a good size for our Easter basket. You could go bigger, smaller, or deeper, like taller water bottle cuts, but this one worked out perfectly for me. I didn't want it too big. I wanted to hold just a good amount of treats inside, so that's what I did. And then you're going to want to make sure that you dry the inside of the water bottle, which I almost forgot to do, but I did dry it inside. You don't want any water or liquid inside because it will get on the cardstock and it will get on everything else that we are going to use. Anyway, so here is our dried water bottle, and I'm going to attach the burlap around the water bottle piece that we had cut out. You can use anything. I was going to use origami paper instead of the burlap, but that's completely your choice. I may use the origami paper for maybe a bigger version of our hot air balloon, but we're going with this one, this burlap, because it turned out so cute and I just love it. So I'm using hot glue to glue the burlap onto the water bottle. If you're familiar with hot glue and plastic, it doesn't really like each other, but we're going with it. It works for this one. So I'm wrapping it around the water bottle piece. And if you notice, I did cut the burlap a little bit higher than where I cut the water to give that extra space, because I'm going to fold the burlap in just because the water bottle where we cut is a little bit sharp and I want to make sure that nobody gets hurt, so that is why I cut it a little bit longer to overlap it. And so I'm finishing off here with the burlap. Got one hanger that just does not want to come off but we are just hot gluing it, and then I'm going to hot glue the edges inwards. This would help with some things as far as keeping it intact. Now this is just a temporary easy treat that we're going to be giving out, so the importance of it staying intact for a long period of time is not really there for this particular project. I could have just folded it in easily and left it alone. Instead, I'm just going to give it a little bit of hot glue to secure it just a little bit more. Alright, so now that we have our basket piece, which honestly I am so in love with, we're going to move on to our next step, which is cutting out our barbecue sticks. Our barbecue sticks are going to act as kind of like the rope from the hot air balloon to the basket. You can cut it at any length. I went with a random length. The only thing you want to make sure of is that that one that you cut is the same size as that second one for each hot air balloon. I did cut a longer piece to make the hot air balloon a little bit higher than the basket, but that's totally up to you. And then you're going to want to glue the sticks into your basket. One thing I love about using the burlap as opposed to anything else was that it held the stick at the position that I needed it to a lot more easily. If I were to glue the stick directly to the water bottle, we'd have a little bit of issues just because plastic and hot glue is just, they don't like to mix. Anyway, so here's our barbecue sticks with our basket. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our fun pieces, our hot air balloon pieces. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna fold each one in half. And we're only doing 3. You could always opt to do a lot more pieces, kind of like a honeycomb fold. And what this does is just give it a little bit more depth. And I'm just using 3 for this one. So we'll go ahead and attach all 3 of our pieces together. You can use regular liquid glue for this piece, this part here. I'm going to use hot glue because it's a lot faster. And you just need a little bit of hot glue. I kind of went a little bit overboard here, but no worries. It's going to stick all 3 of them together. So you just align it in the middle. And the thing I like about this part was that it just kind of stuck in place like perfectly. I didn't have to hold it together for so long. If you were using liquid glue, you'd probably have to hold on to it a little bit more. Then I went ahead and folded each piece back to give it its original shape. And this part here was really fun. I love how it turned out. Now we're going to glue the hot air balloon to the sticks. I'm using the second piece of paper, if you can see behind that one. So you have your original fold in the front. That's gonna stay there. And what you wanna do is glue the second piece to the stick. Now, if you notice here, I glued the wrong side, so I'm about to glue the right side to the stick and to the hot air balloon because I glued the back. I'm supposed to glue the front. Anyway, so you want to get the glue to stick on there. You want to make sure that your hot air cardstock is a little bit in the center. I'm holding it in place just until the glue kind of dries. It was still a little bit warm there, so giving it a little bit of pressure and then making it straight and then gluing the second stick on there. I want to say this is going to be the most difficult part of this whole entire process, but it's still pretty easy compared to other things that we've done. So I'm just making sure that it's in place here. And once it's in place, we can move on and start adding our cute bunny ears. I love the bunny ears and I love how it's folded. That was one of my really happy parts here. So I'm going to use, this is where the foam back-to-back tape comes in hand. The foam back-to-back tape, it just gives it more depth. I like that about the using foam back-to-back tape. It's one of my favorite things. So I'm just putting the pieces together. You can do gray ears with a little pink lining. You could do gray ears with white lining. It really depends on what you want or what you have on hand. I'm gluing hot glue to the foam tape just to make it a little bit more secured. I want to say that it probably can do without the hot glue, but I went ahead and added that hot glue just for security. There's a lot of wind where I live, and so I want to make sure this makes it to its destination without being blown away. Anyway, now I'm working on the second ear, same process. Add that foam tape and glue it to the hot air balloon. One great thing I love about this part here is that it gives it a lot of character. It's just the bunny ears that we added, but it really just makes the whole thing fit into the Easter bunny theme, and I just love that about it. And then this next part is where we'll come with our craft paper. Now there's different options for this next part. I used the craft paper because it's what I had on hand. You can use anything from construction paper, wax paper, whatever you have. We are making the Easter basket grass. I did not have any on hand. Surprisingly, I didn't have any on hand. So I had to make do. What we're doing is we're making shredded paper, almost like shredded paper, and almost like Easter basket fillings. I used construction paper for my first run. The construction paper, although it did its job, I found that the craft paper was a lot easier to work with. First off, it's a lot easier to fold. I'm going as quickly as I possibly can with this. If I was using cardstock or construction paper, it would have taken a little bit longer. So I'm a big fan of the craft paper here at this part. And I'm just giving it an accordion fold back to back till I use the whole thing. And we're just going to cut small pieces out and really try to fit it into this cute little basket. You don't want it to be too full, you don't want it to be too empty, because then you'd have to put more treats in the basket, which honestly it's really up to you what you want to do. So as I fold, I'm trying to fold as small as I can. I don't think it really completely matters. I am going to cut it in half. I'll use half for one basket and the other half for the next basket. And it honestly depends on how much your scissors can go through. My scissors couldn't cut through this thickness, so I went ahead and cut it individually into pieces, little tiny pieces there, and really just have fun with it. I had so much fun. The fact that I could make the shredded paper too was really exciting. I honestly did not want to run to the store for this project. All I wanted to do was create something cute, fun, and doable for the Easter treats that we'll be giving out. And this was a really great way to do it. I got the bottles, the barbecue sticks, everything was on hand. The only thing I had to purchase was the Easter egg chocolates. I didn't have that one on hand, and that's really all to it. So now I'm opening our cut pieces. It really does look like the grass or the Easter basket fillings, which honestly I was so excited about. But I'm just opening them up, giving them their shape that they need. You could opt to use the cut pieces just how I have it there, where they're just folded. That could be fillings too. If you do go that route, you probably need a lot more pieces to fill a basket. But I'm just opening them up, and then I will slowly crumple them together kind of softly. We're not completely crumpling it. We just want to give it a better shape, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm opening them up and really just starting to see how much I'm going to use for one basket. I could use just half of what I cut, and then the other half would go to another basket, or I could completely fill the basket up with the entire pieces that I cut. Honestly, up to you, but I'm softly crumpling them here, and then I'm going to add it to our cute little basket. As I fill them up, I am noticing that maybe I want to use everything that I cut, just to make it a little bit more fuller, but completely up to you. This is what I love about this whole entire project, is that it's really up to you how full you want to do the Easter fillings, or how tall, how big, whatever bottle you have on hand. I do know that I have a bigger bottle that I'd like to use to make a bigger hot air balloon, but we'll see how that goes. Now we just add our cute little Easter eggs, and we are finished. How cute is this project? I love it. I love everything about it. I am so excited. I'll probably make more. Probably make a lot more. Well, that's our Easter hot air balloon. I hope you all enjoyed this. I will see you on the next video.